Hezbollah, a Shiite Islamist political and militant group based in Lebanon, emerged in the early 1980s amidst the backdrop of the Lebanese Civil War and the Israeli invasion of Lebanon. The group's formation was largely a response to the political and social chaos in the country, as well as the growing influence of Iran after the 1979 Islamic Revolution. Hezbollah, which translates to Party of God, was initially inspired by the Iranian model of governance and sought to establish an Islamic state in Lebanon. Over time, however, its goals evolved and it became a significant political actor within the Lebanese state. The organization's origins can be traced to a coalition of various Shiite groups, including the Islamic Amal movement, which was led by influential clerics like Syed Mohammed Hussein Fadlallah. With Iranian support, Hezbollah developed a distinct identity, combining religious ideologies with a commitment to resistance against Israel. The group's initial military operations focused on driving Israeli forces out of southern Lebanon, a goal that resonated with many Lebanese, particularly the Shiite population that felt marginalized in the sectarian landscape of Lebanon. Hezbollah's military wing, the Islamic Resistance, engaged in a series of guerrilla warfare tactics against Israeli troops and their allied militias, achieving significant successes. One of the most notable instances was the 2000 Israeli withdrawal from southern Lebanon, which Hezbollah claimed as a victory and used to bolster its legitimacy and support within Lebanon and the broader Arab world. The group's ability to challenge a conventional military power like Israel helped solidify its status as a key player in regional geopolitics. Hezbollah's role expanded beyond military engagement. It also established a comprehensive social service network, providing education, healthcare, and welfare to impoverished Shiite communities. This dual strategy of military resistance and social support garnered considerable grassroots support, positioning Hezbollah as a defender of the Shiite community and a legitimate political actor. The organization participated in Lebanese parliamentary elections and successfully secured seats, further embedding itself in the political landscape. The 2006 Lebanon War marked a significant turning point for Hezbollah. The conflict began with a cross-border raid by Hezbollah that resulted in the kidnapping of 2 Israeli soldiers, prompting a massive Israeli military response. The war lasted 34 days and resulted in significant destruction in Lebanon, but Hezbollah emerged with its image enhanced, having withstood the onslaught and portrayed itself as a defender of Lebanon against Israeli aggression. The aftermath of the war also led to increased regional tensions and a reevaluation of Hezbollah's role in the Middle East, particularly in relation to Iran and Syria. Internationally, Hezbollah is considered a terrorist organization by several countries, including the United States and Israel. This classification stems from its attacks on civilians, its use of asymmetric warfare, and its alleged involvement in global terrorism. The group has been linked to various violent incidents outside Lebanon, including attacks against Israeli and Western targets. However, many in the Arab and Muslim worlds view Hezbollah as a legitimate resistance movement, especially given its stance against Israel and its role in opposing Western influence in the region. The Syrian Civil War further complicated Hezbollah's position. The group sided with the Assad regime, deploying fighters to support the Syrian government against a multitude of opposition factions, including Sunni extremists. This involvement not only deepened sectarian divides in the region, but also raised questions about Hezbollah's priorities, as it balanced its commitment to resistance in Lebanon with its role as a regional power broker. The conflict also strained Hezbollah's resources and drew criticism from some within Lebanon, who feared the group was overextending itself. Hezbollah's relationship with Iran remains a cornerstone of its identity and strategy. The Iranian government provides substantial financial, military, and logistical support to Hezbollah, viewing it as a critical ally in the axis of resistance against Israel and Western powers. This alliance has solidified Hezbollah's role as a proxy for Iranian interests in the region, further complicating its narrative as a Lebanese nationalist movement. Domestically, Hezbollah continues to wield significant influence in Lebanon, participating in the political process and maintaining its social services. However, Lebanon's ongoing economic crisis and political dysfunction have led to widespread discontent. Many Lebanese citizens blame Hezbollah for contributing to the country's woes, viewing the group as part of the entrenched political elite that has failed to address critical issues like corruption, governance, and economic reform. As of now, Hezbollah remains a formidable force in both Lebanese and regional politics. Its complex identity as a social movement, political party, and militant organization makes it a unique entity in the Middle Eastern landscape. The group's future will likely be shaped by ongoing regional conflicts, shifts in Iranian influence, and the evolving dynamics of Lebanese politics. Its ability to navigate these challenges while maintaining support from its constituents will be crucial in determining its role in Lebanon and the broader region. The interplay between its militant and political activities continues to provoke debate, making Hezbollah a focal point of analysis for those seeking to understand contemporary Middle Eastern geopolitics. Hezbollah emerged during Lebanon's Civil War, which broke out in 1975 when long-simmering discontent over the large, armed Palestinian presence in the country reached a boiling point. Various Lebanese sectarian communities held different positions on the nature of the Palestinian challenge. Under a 1943 political agreement, political power is divided among Lebanon's predominant religious groups. A Sunni Muslim serves as prime minister, a Maronite Christian as president, and a Shiite Muslim as the Speaker of Parliament. Tensions among these groups evolved into civil war as several factors upset the delicate balance. The Sunni population had grown with the arrival of Palestinian refugees in Lebanon, while Shiites felt increasingly marginalized by the ruling Christian minority. Amid the infighting, Israeli forces invaded southern Lebanon in 1978 and again in 1982 to expel Palestinian guerrilla fighters that used the region as their base to attack Israel. A group of Shiites influenced by the theocratic government in Iran, the region's major Shiite government, which came to power in 1979, took up arms against the Israeli occupation. Seeing an opportunity to expand its influence in Arab states, Iran and its Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps IRGC provided funds and training to the budding militia which adopted the name Hezbollah, meaning the Party of God. It earned a reputation for extremist militancy due to its frequent clashes with rival Shiite militias, such as the Amal movement, and its attacks on foreign targets, including the 1983 suicide bombing of barracks housing U.S. and French troops in Beirut, in which more than 300 people died. Hezbollah became a vital asset to Iran, bridging Shiite Arab-Persian divides as Tehran established proxies throughout the Middle East. Hezbollah bills itself as a Shiite resistance movement, and it enshrined its ideology in a 1985 manifesto that vowed to expel Western powers from Lebanon, called for the destruction of the Israeli state, and pledged allegiance to Iran's supreme leader. It also advocated an Iran-inspired Islamist regime, but emphasized that the Lebanese people should have the freedom of self-determination. Hezbollah is led by Hassan Nasrallah, who took over as Secretary General in 1992 after Israel assassinated the group's co-founder and previous leader, Abbas al-Mazawi. Nasrallah oversees the 7-member Shura Council and its 5 sub-councils: the Political Assembly, the Jihad Assembly, the Parliamentary Assembly, the Executive Assembly, and the Judicial Assembly. The U.S. State Department estimates, PDF, that there are tens of thousands of Hezbollah members and other supporters worldwide. Hezbollah controls much of Lebanon's Shiite majority areas, including parts of Beirut, southern Lebanon, and the eastern Bekaa Valley region. Although Hezbollah is based in Lebanon, its manifesto clarifies that its operations, especially those targeting the United States, are not confined by domestic borders. The American threat is not local or restricted to a particular region, and as such, confrontation of such a threat must be international as well. The group has been accused of planning and perpetrating acts of terrorism against Israeli and Jewish targets abroad, and there is evidence of Hezbollah operations in Africa, the Americas, and Asia. Iran provides most of Hezbollah's training, weapons, and funding, sending the group hundreds of millions of dollars each year, according to the State Department. Hezbollah also receives some support from the Bashar al-Assad regime in Syria, as well as financing from legal businesses international criminal enterprises, and the Lebanese diaspora.